underneath the dermis, the epidermis, we have the dermis. And as I said before, derm means skin. This is under the epidermis. It is very, very vascular, which we've already learned means that we have a good blood supply. For some reason, my draw tools aren't working. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, there we go. It's very, very vascular. Now, it has 2 layers. It's got a papillary layer and it's got a reticular layer. The papillary layer is just a couple of layers thick. Actually, it's very thin, and it's loose connective tissue, and it fits right up under those curves the way the stratum basal was kind of wavy. The papillary layer fits up in there. The reticular layer is deeper and it's thicker, and it's mainly dense, irregular connective tissue. Now, the papillary layer has these little projections, and you can see them right here. They look like little nipples. You see them? I need to erase that. I think I made it where you can't see it. Okay, you see them pointing at that spot, all right? You see those little nipples? Well, that's what papilla means, is nipples. And so the papillary layer has those little nipples that fit up in that wavy part of the stratum basal. And they contact the epidermis. And it is full of lots of capillaries. And that's going to help nourish that upper avascular epidermis and supply it with oxygen. There are also some tactile corpuscles that are up there. We'll see these in the lab more, but we're talking about those little structures right there that are going to be up in the papillary layer, and they actually are for detecting a light touch stimulus. And you got a lot of these on your fingertips and your lips and your face. The reticular layer is deeper, and it is everything down here is reticular layer, okay? It is filled with, and I'm going to erase that because I'm going to need to show you something else. It is filled with different structures. First of all is this lamellated corpuscle right here that you see. You see that? Okay, that is embedded down deep, and it's a sensory receptor, and it is for detecting any kind of pressure or vibration. There are also blood vessels that you see there in red and blue. There are sweat glands. There are sebaceous glands that secrete oil. And there's adipose tissue is going to be found towards the bottom of the reticular layer, the fat. So we've got 2 layers in the dermis. The papillary layer up at the top, and then the remainder of it going all the way down to the hypodermis is the reticular layer. Now, there are markings in your skin, and these are visible lines in your epidermis. And they are made because of the interaction between the dermis with the epidermis. You see them in thick skin that's in your palms and on the ends of your fingers and toes, on your sole of your foot. Dermal ridges, that's where the dermal papilla are more prominent. And those dermal ridges indent the epidermis above. That's why the stratum basal is indented, and that helps us with gripping. And it forms loops and arches. You can look at your fingertips and see that are genetically determined, and everybody has their very own unique fingerprints. And there are sweat pores along those ridges, so that's why you leave fingerprints when you touch things. Now, the reason our skin has color is because of a pigment called melanin, which is kind of anywhere from orangey red to black. And melanin is made in cells that are called melanocytes. And if you got somebody that, if you have it in your hair also, let's say you've got somebody that's got very, very light hair and you've got somebody that's got black hair. Well, the person that has light hair, their melanin is going to be a lighter color, almost a very light tan color. And the granules of melanin are going to be very, very small and scattered within that hair. Same thing with your skin. If you've got somebody with black hair, their melanin is in big granules and they're all connected to each other and it just fills up the hair. Why do we have melanin? To protect us from UV radiation. That's the main reason. We make it continuously, and that's why we stay the same color, our hair and our skin. The skin color depends on the number of melanocytes in an area of the body. And if you've got differences, you'll have differences in your coloring. You don't have many melanocytes, fewer melanocytes on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. But overall, and this is so important in my opinion, overall, the number of melanocytes is virtually identical among all individuals, no matter what color their skin is. It just has to do with the size of the granules and how scattered they are. There are other things that can influence the color of your skin, just to mention two of them. There's carotene, which is going to be a more of an orangey pigment, and it is found in orange vegetables, and it will kind of gather in the stratum corneum. A lot of Caucasian babies, when they start eating baby food, they like peaches and squash. They like the yellow vegetables. And if that's all they eat for any amount of time, you will notice that along the bridge of their nose, they'll turn really yellow, almost orange. But because your skin cells are constantly being pushed up and sloughed off, then it's not going to stay orange if mama starts feeding him some green vegetables as well. Hemoglobin is another thing that is the iron-containing protein that's in your red blood cells that carries oxygen. It will change your body color. If you don't have enough of it, you'll get real pale. If you, like I was outside working in the yard this morning and I got hot, so I turned red. And that's because of the hemoglobin.